Kevin Costner, $36 million. Was it worth it? Chase Liaki here at the Blue Futon reviewing Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1. Well, we won't really know if it's worth it until Chapter 2 comes out, and that's like in mid-August, if I'm not mistaken. But what's this about? It's kind of a simple premise. We're like 1865 America. We're in California. We're in Wyoming. We're also in Kansas. And we have these three different storylines that are going to intertwine somehow in Chapter 2, or that's what I think. So when watching the trailer of this, I was expecting this trailer just to focus on Chapter 1. That is not the case. So if you see a lot of things in the trailer, not in the movie, it's probably going to be in Chapter 2 in the August version. I think that's very interesting of how many people are going to transfer from the Chapter 1 to Chapter 2. Because I felt a couple people in this movie theater getting antsy in the second act. Because like I said, there's a lot of storylines. You have the Kansas, which is the Luke Wilson one. Then you have the Wyoming one, which is the Kevin Costner one. Then you have a California one, or the San Pedro Valley, which is the whole point of like the whole Horizon and people moving that location. And a lot of the Native Americans killing the people on that land. So you are getting a lot of different characters as well. Because like I'm saying, it's pretty basic, the three stories. But of course, Kevin Costner has a little kid. The Jena Malone story, the prostitute story, him killing someone, which also connects to the Horizon one, which you have this kid who wants to get revenge on Native Americans, but now he's thinking, am I doing the wrong thing? Then the Luke Wilson one, where they're kind of doing the Oregon Trail, and you have this rich kind of couple doing something, then you have these two people spying on these couple, so it's a lot of intertwining that people are going to die, and I don't know where this story is going to go. So I'm explaining a lot to you, but I didn't really tell you if I liked this movie. I think I did. I really enjoyed the first hour of this film. It started with a freaking blast, and I'm thinking, holy shit. If this continues on, this is going to be a top 10 movie for me. But in the second act and third act, it started to drag a little bit, thinking, where is this going? There's a lot of good tension moments. Like I said, the first hour, fantastic. You've seen the part in the trailer where he's talking to like, oh, you're a bad man. That's a good tension scene. There's also a good tension scene at the end where, you know, the little kid finally can get revenge on a Native American. And there's a really good tension scene like in a bar, if you want to put it that way. Also at a camp. So in between each storyline, there's something fantastic. Oh yeah, and the Sam Worthington storyline being in the first lieutenant in the Army. That's another storyline that is going to connect. But yeah, so I think there's a great tension throughout this movie, but not overall through this movie. The landscape. This is a cinematography freaking Oscar nomination, in my opinion. It looks fantastic. It looks gorgeous. I would say there's maybe two-ish greenish screens. One is his horse coming down a mountain, and one of them is in a cave where it is raining outside. There's probably another one at the very end where they're making more flyers to go to this Horizon location. But overall, it's a sprawling landscape, and it looks freaking fantastic. It's a stacked cast. Everyone in this movie looks fantastic. The makeup is great. The costumes are great. I honestly thought Jaron Pulaski, whatever the guy's name is from Supernatural, was in it. But I think this is a bigger dude that looks rougher than him. So I was like, is that him? There's no way. But is it him? It's not. So yeah, there is that. So when it comes to the technical craft of this movie, I do think it is solid A+ work. Like I said, where I think it might falter is the pacing and writing with trying to connect these stories and how it is somewhat edited, where sometimes it's a jarring cut real quick, or sometimes it's a slow pace and will transition scenes. So there are some edits in this movie where it's editing from one story to another story to another story, and you kind of like have to think like, okay, is this in the same time period? Where are we at? How are these connecting? Because is it in the sign? Like, is there days going by that you're just not knowing? And so there is, you know, some little like, oh, is this any connection? Because with the Sam Worthington storyline, there's something happens miserably to the wife character, And I'm thinking, is the transition too quick to get in a new relationship? So that's why I'm thinking, like, is there timelines that I'm kind of missing or just not understanding? And I would say with that, the writing and pacing, like I said, the second act, it's a lot of talking with the Sam Worthington storyline. I would say the one storyline you don't get a lot of is the Luke Wilson one. Because that one kind of shows up at the 2-ish hour mark. So I think it's going to be more predominant later on. We are going to focus, I feel like, a lot more on this Native American storyline. That's where it opened up with. And I want to say, is Native American versus the whites, or, Native Americans versus the blacks. It isn't like that, because it also shows Native Americans killing each other, as well as kind of a rift where there's like a tribe that's like, look, you don't want to do this. You are going to hurt us if you want to fight them. And there's a lot of dynamics with that of where's it going to go. And I am kind of curious where this is going to go, because there's also a scene in the end trailer where it's like a Native American with, I want to say, a girl or a boy riding a horse. I'm like, okay, where's that storyline going to go? And I'm very intrigued by that. And with the writing, like I said, there's a lot going on. And I don't know if they put too much in the story, but it's hard for me to say that. Kind of like with the 2898 AD movie I just watched, Kalki, if I'm saying that correctly, because I don't know where it's going to go. And it's hard to rate a movie knowing for a fact there's another one coming in 6 weeks. And so I could just do a chapter 1. So overall, chapter 1, it looks fantastic. It's acted extremely well. Technical craft is there. I do think some of the pacing can hinder people. I felt it. The audience did feel it. And there was a couple in front of me, they just wouldn't shut up either. And I do think some of the writing where it's like, where's this story going to go? Is it really going to dive deep into where I think it is? And I'm afraid some of it might not. But like I said, I got to wait 6 more weeks. So Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1 will receive a 3.5 out of 5 with Futons, which goes at 70%. So let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So critics were at 39% with 79 of them. Audience score 70% with over 250. That might lower, but I could be wrong. Critic consensus: Kevin Costner doesn't lack for ambition as he sketches this frontier saga across the wildest of crevasses. But Horizon's first chapter proves too diffuse in scope for it to satisfy as a self-contained endeavor. I could somewhat agree with that because self-contained. And like I said, the very end, it is like a 3-minute recap or what you're going to expect in 6 weeks. So it was kind of jarring as well. So 70-39. Chase Liak here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of the things, Bhutontopia, you Bhuftonians, thank you for watching. Have a great day. And I don't care if I watch today, tomorrow, a week from now, a month, or a year from now, every single freaking one of you. Peace and love, peace and love. And this also proves people are soft nowadays.